What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the Texas Treat Latino Heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds. The Globe-trotting, head-shotting, nitro rifle from Twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
Gotta remember your deodorant, everybody.
Put it on
Stay
right
fresh.
now. Actually, you know what? Before you put it on,
Already did.
Crank it out, take a bite out of it. Come on, coward.
Crank it out, Andy.
Coward. Crank it up.
I am. I'm okay with being called a coward for not wanting to take a chunk out of deodorant.
Listen,
You
I
just
know.
put on your armpit in a very, very hot
Tim,
day.
here's
in
what I
San
want on the
Francisco.
record, all right? Next time Andy opens his mouth saying he wants to be the next Bam Margera, show him this clip, because he had his chance. He had his chance right there. God forbid you take a bite of deodorant on this audio podcast, Andy. You know what I mean?
Enough of the visual gags, everybody. Enough of them, all right?
Andy hates podcast listeners, we already know. Of course, the other member there of the trio is Forbes 30 under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the verified one at Tim Geddes.
That's him. So I felt like a little kitty cat there, Greg. You're spinning that thing around and
sure.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, in a way, it was a hypnosis, but it was like a little bit off and it's going too fast. You know, if you do something like that to hypnotize you, probably.
Andy, look at his little arm muscle.
Wow, that looks pretty cool.
Guys, come on, that's an old Kind of Funny bit. Remember, that is the definition. This is when I told The Rock he wasn't that in shape. I was like, because that's really, when you want to talk about who's in shape, what do you look for? You look right there at the forearm. You look at those. Look at that. Because look at that definition.
Yeah, I don't have that.
They call it the dancer's hollow. You know what I mean?
The dancer's hollow, right in the forearm. Look at it.
It sounds like a Harry Potter reference or something.
We're going to the dancer's hollow,
or a level in Destiny 2.
Not liking this at all.
Could be, yeah. It could definitely be a planet in Destiny 2. On the ones and twos, it's the sad boy Barrett Courtney. Barrett Courtney, how are you?
I have a mouthful of chips right now. I'm sorry.
What kind of chips?
Don't say it.
You want to hear the crunch so you can guess.
Okay, we're gonna hear the crunch, then we're gonna go around the horn. Everybody's gonna decide what it is. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So soft. That's such
that sounds like a lay.
Crunch.
What I appreciate about that is we heard the bag, thus disqualifying Ruffles. Or no, I'm sorry, Pringles.
Pringles, yeah. That's. Can you give it to us one more time? Because that's a soft crunch. Let me tell you.
Those were the last of the crumbs. I'm sorry.
Fucking shit.
I'm sorry.
See, the bag noise read to me as Sun Chips, but then the crunch read to me definitely not as Sun Chips. Those were way too soft. So I'm gonna go with Lay's.
It sounded like a standard Lay potato chip. Not too thick, not too thin. Definitely the chips at the bottom of the bag, because those end up being the smallest and the softest.
They're just the little triangles there. At the end. Now now, Andy, are you playing with inside information? You live in the same house. Have you seen Barrett's chip supply?
I have not. No.
Okay. And then then the question becomes if it's. I agree.
I never open our pantry except for when I need a screwdriver. And then I sometimes return it, sometimes don't.
We'll double back to that. We'll double back to that.
We only have so much storage space in this house, Greggy.
So one half of is it tools and chips intermixed, or is it like
there's a drawer with tools in it, but then like the rest of it is like we got snacks and
drawer.
Toilet paper and other like pleasantries up there. I don't know why I call
Greg,
toilet paper pleasantries.
Greg, the pliers are standing up upside down vertically, and then on each of the pliers, sort of pincers or whatever, or not pincers, but folding rods. That's where we stack the toilet paper rolls.
That's not.
It's all working in conjunction again.
That almost had me as I could see that happening in something. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I'm glad to know you don't have the inside information. I'd also like to pause this discussion. We're having a great podcast already, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're all thinking, man, is it too early to nominate them for the Webbies? It's never too early. This is the episode. This is the one you're going to go take to the thing, all right? But first, we need a full stop. Everybody, all right? I'm hitting the button. Boop. We just did a full stop on the podcast, right? In the live chat, of course, on patreon.com/kindoffunny, where you can go to be part of the show. You can write in, you can watch live, yada, 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 yada. Keegan Hill writes, I thought you meant fries, not crisps. And I need to remind you once again, we are in the United States of fucking American. Keegan, all right? Nobody wants your shit right now, all right? Nobody's over here boiling all their meat and their cabbage and saying that's a fucking meal, all right? Andy, remind me, who won WW2?
Hulk Hogan?
No, we did. The United States of America did, Andy, all right? So I'll call potato chips, all right? Don't worry about it.
Gotcha. Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Back to it, to this Webby Award.
Damn, I love this
I am
show.
a real American.
Fight for the rights of every man.
Trying to catch it. Racist, that dude.
Sucks. Yeah, fucking sucks, doesn't it? Jesus, that really
is a real American.
Wow.
Oh, Tim,
wow.
A good one.
I'm spicing it in, guys. Nick's not here. All three of us have to step it up a little bit, bring some nasty shit, you know?
Yeah, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, we were thinking about bringing back KFAF. Andy, Nick, and Kevin went to film a segment. Kevin and Nick were out in the canoe in the water. Snake jumped out of the water, bit them both in the eyes. They're rehabbing the eyes
still
right
on
now.
The run.
They lost all the KFAFA footage.
The slither.
The snake is still out. See,
he grabbed the tape. He stuck his tail in there and unspooled it all.
Damn, man. If you see a snake at large, it's probably our culprit here.
Bullshit. This guy just keeps getting
Anyways,
away with everything.
I think Barrett is eating sour cream and onion Lay's potato chips. Do you guys, are you both said Lay's? Are you sticking straight classic Lay's? The yellow bag, yellow chip?
No, I'm gonna go with I don't know why I want to go barbecue right now. I don't know why
I'm going barbecue.
Clear the mechanism.
No one's buying Lay's on purpose unless they're barbecue Lay's.
Unless it comes with a meal that maybe you didn't eat.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not on purpose. It's just like you were given Lay's. Lay's just happened to you. The only exception is buying the big bag at the barbecue for a party, for a barbecue type scenario, because it's acceptable there. But yeah, I'm not gonna give a specific flavor. If I had to, it'd be barbecue. But this to me feels like he was given this random Lay's, even though he didn't buy it himself.
I think Barrett ordered a sandwich at some point, and it's a small bag of chips that came with it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right, then.
Hold on. I heard the door knock earlier when the food arrived because Lulu kind of
trading.
Lulu likes she'll bark like once or twice
like this?
just to kind of like.
Courtney home. I have his potato chips. I have his bag of Lay's potato chips. Classic normal Lay's potato chips.
No, but it sounded like the dude who works at the sandwich place. Very, very sort of noticeable gruff in his voice, and you could tell it's a throat that has experienced a lot of different sandwiches going down it. Like it has that sort of timbre to it, you know.
Yeah, the Dutch crunch damage. Yeah, it went there, scraped it all up, then it heals over. You never sound the same.
I don't know what it is.
All right, Barrett, please reveal to us what kind of chips you've been eating.
Is that on my end?
Do you guys hear that? It's coming from Greg.
It's mine. Yeah, there's a handyman doing some stuff. Sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going insane.
No, sorry. I was wondering if you could hear.
So the big reveal here, we got some Subway today. And the chips that I do choose to buy are baked Lay's original.
Oh, but you know what, Barrett? I can't even hate on that. I loved a baked Lay's original.
Me too. We talked about it before.
The OG Lay's, Tim, I will agree with you. No one's going for the OG Lay's on the.
When you buy the party pack of 5, the OG Lay's are always just left over, taking up space. But baked Lay's, and then again, I would argue that baked Lay's barbecue are the chip that I could fuck up the most consistently.
If our Subway had them, I would order those, but they just got the original baked Lay's.
I see Greg rolling his eyes, and Greg, don't get me wrong. Like, here's what I need to. Oh, you're muted, Greg.
Muted.
All right, yeah. Well, now I'm trying to play the game of mute the fucking thing up there. Now I'm sorry, I wasn't rolling my eyes. I think I was thinking. You didn't say anything negative about it. That would set me off.
It's one of these things
this
where
haymaker out of the way. I'm done with flaming hot Cheetos. Regular Cheetos are king. Thank you. Back to you. What's the fucking point? They just nuke my mouth. They don't do anything. Meanwhile, I can sit there, eat Cheetos, enjoy my life, enjoy my meal. Fucking flaming hot Cheetos is like, oh, it's hot now. My mouth's hot now.
When you drop that, the medium Resident Evil nonsense, I'm not even going to get into that. But I wasn't there to experience the shock of that type of statement. This goes beyond that. That is regular Cheetos are a take it or leave it type thing. I'm not going to judge you one way or another if you love or hate them. It doesn't matter. But like to compare them to Flamin' Hot, no.
I wrote it with you guys for a while there. They were a fad. And I was like, oh, this is a delicious fad to be a part of. I'm glad these are so many around. But now I'll tell you what I'm doing consistently every time I go to Safeway when I get away from Jen when she goes to Whole Foods. I go in there and I buy regular bags of Cheetos. Just regular ass Cheetos. No need for the Flamin' Hot anymore. I like to taste
boring ass dad.
You Jesus fucking dad, dude. You are a white dad. That's all that you are now. Get
Tim, way to take advantage.
Since when is that a problem, Tim?
Taking advantage of the Latino culture when it's convenient for you. you, and it's just a fad for you. It's a lifestyle for us, Greg.
Jesus.
Listen, I'll always be proud of you, Andy, and your culture.
I'll always be a proud Latino.
No. No, I'm trying to find my way to this joke without saying anything racist. So it's probably not worth it. You know what I mean? It's probably not worth it, but I'll do it again.
Okay.
I'll always be proud of your culture, Andy, for giving us the taco, but I'll always be more proud that it was perfected into the cheesy gordita crunch. All right? You know what I mean? And that's what we're talking about here with Cheetos, right? We let you have the moment. All right? Flaming hot
Jen's
Cheetos.
going to have to explain to her child that her father was murdered about a week before the child was born, a couple weeks before the child was born, uppercut by Andy Cortez.
But you know what? Wow. That kid will respect it because his father died fighting the good fight. A lot of people will sit here and let the big trend go for a long time.
Anti-taco agenda. Like, I don't know that you're.
No, we're not talking. No, we're not anti-tacos. That was just a stupid joke. All right, we're not. No, tacos of any kind are great. I'm not gonna argue that.
Okay.
Except corn tortillas, they suck. Flour tortillas for life. But back to it here with
No, we're not going back to anything.
Oh, look, I'm a corn tortilla. You warm me up a little bit. You can't fold me. God, get out of here. Flour tortillas for life.
Right, since we're not going back to that, I'm getting some judgment from some people in the chat of like doing the baked lays. And I think it was Madeline who was like, I need flavor. And my reasoning for not needing flavor.
They're salty and nice.
Yeah, they're salty, they're crunchy. And also the sandwich I usually get is full of plenty of flavors that I don't need something on top of that to really mess around with it. I'm going, like I got some Italian sausages in there. Got some like what is it?
Wait, whoa, I'm sorry. I missed. What? Where are these Italian sausages? They're in the chips.
No. In the sandwich. I have so
much.
You got
a Subway sandwich with Italian sausage?
I didn't mean sausage. Italian meats, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The flavor profile for the sandwich is there's already a lot going on. You got Italian meats. You got some sweet honey mustard, some oil, some vinegar. Some green peppers, banana peppers. There's already like an explosion of firework of flavorness in this sandwich. I don't need anything on top of that. It's such a joyful flavor profile that I just need a little bit of crunch.
Here's the question though, is Barrett, are you putting them in the sandwich? Because the only good place for normal Lays is in the sandwich.
Right.
These aren't normal Lays. These are just the baked Lays, and I like having the baked Lays.
Either way.
What I do, Tim, I do one half of the sandwich, then eat the Lays, and then go into the second half of the sandwich. Kind of, they're my halftime snack.
I see because the intermission, the old intermission. Lays for me, potato chips for me, when they go along with, they're always the accessory. They are the thing to have added texture. And Greg talking shit about corn tortillas, which is really just absolutely wild because here's my problem with what you're saying, Greg.
It's too truth. It's too truth for you. I understand.
I'm actually gonna have Imran Khan ghostwrite me an article because he's way smarter than me, and I need to Here's the problem with people that hate corn tortillas. The issue that I have with it is that the tortillas are used for two very different meals, and a lot of people don't understand that. The flour tortilla, that's a breakfast taco thing. That's a burrito thing.
Okay.
The corn tortilla is a street taco thing. It's a lunch taco thing. It's the smaller taco things. You're not gonna go to a taco truck late at night after drinking at a bar or whatever and ask for a taco with a flour tortilla. It just doesn't exist. They serve two very different purposes. Your corn tortilla, again, your burritos and stuff. Burritos not really a huge thing where I'm from. Sure. We didn't really eat a whole lot of them, but flour tortillas, very much a breakfast thing, Greg.
Sure.
They have these things. If you Google the word Q taco, probably not a great thing now because it sounds like a taco for QAnon fans or something. But Q tacos were a very popular thing in the Rio Grande Valley, where before people go to work, this is why
the potato, egg, bean, and cheese Q taco. Is that right?
This is why the Rio Grande Valley is one of the most obese places in the country.
Sure, fair.
Instead of going to a Starbucks run and getting a little thing of that, or you go to a Circle K or a 7-Eleven or whatever the hell these stores are called now, you get a breakfast taco, Tim. And the breakfast tacos always have what Greg mentioned. They'll have like bean and egg and potato or egg and potato and bacon or whatever, and it's always a flour tortilla. But then when you want a lunch taco or a dinner taco, that's a street taco. That's a classic two corn tortillas with whatever you want inside of it. Whether you want, bistec or al pastor or whatever the hell you want. Those are the little small ones, Greg. So are you a fan of street tacos?
Of course.
Thank God.
But you feel like you feel like you'd prefer them with a flour tortilla?
Yeah, that's right.
You're wild.
I mean, it would change. I'm with you in the way that it would drastically change. Most flour tortilla is larger than a corn tortilla. You know what I mean? And granted, I know we're painting with a broad brush. A lot of different things happening here. Maybe your grandma, she's over there. She's making flour tortillas or some shit, and it's smaller. I don't fucking know what your grandma does. All right. Did your grandpa? I know that much.
Why are you bringing his grandma into it then?
Well, this is the hypothetical grandma. Okay. Because you know how it is, Tim. Literally, you're like, well, I can be like, well, the school I went to was blue, and everybody's like, my school was red. I'm like, I know. It's a fucking infinite multiverse of people out there. All right. So I'm aware that somebody listening right now has a one-eyed grandma who made flour tortillas that were the size of corn tortillas, and everything was fucking fantastic.
That's definitely not a thing, by the way. Like flour tortillas are always like the big. Yeah, style kind of tortillas, yeah.
But what I'm saying is flour tortillas superior to the corn tortilla.
No.
I mean,
Tim's thinking.
No,
they serve different purposes.
Let Tim think. It's his old catchphrase from the Daily Fix.
Exactly. No. What I'm saying is, I'm just saying, like, I can't agree with you because any situation that a corn tortilla is used, it is better than what would be a flour tortilla.
Think about it. They're like little circles of leather. They like wrap around. If they don't tear nice,
they're
they
so
tear
little,
all weird.
though.
It's synthetic, but it's not. I know this came from corn, masa, you know what I mean? But this, ladies and gentlemen, still feels like I'm eating plastic.
See, I'm on the opposite side here where like flour tortillas always leave like a weird aftertaste in my mouth.
All right, guys. Now we're just going to have this slander both ways from y'all motherfuckers. Shout out to the corn tortillas for their uses. Shout out to the flour tortillas for their uses.
Tim, it's like
you imagine two of the whitest motherfuckers, me and Barrett here, being like, I don't like this kind of tortilla.
It's like, Tim, it really is like how wine is paired really good with certain things and how other alcohols are paired well with certain things. Like you could say one is better than the other if you have preferences, but you're not going to put Peruvian street meat in a flour tortilla. That's just not going to happen. You're going to put it on a corn tortilla. And by the way, a really good TikTok went around several months ago, and it's a lady explaining no, you're not supposed to eat the taco with two tortillas. You're supposed to just use one, and the one on the bottom is supposed to catch this fall off.
God, that's brilliant.
And then use that for the rest of it,
Holy fuck. Now here's the thing, Andy.
The most amazing thing about it, Tim, was that everybody reacting to it was Mexican people, and they're like, I'm not gonna fucking listen to a white lady tell me how to eat a taco, but god damn, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my question.
Every video was like, look, like fuck this white lady, like these are facts, dude. That's a good call. Like I never thought of that shit.
I wonder if that was the original purpose though, and that just didn't get, passed down correctly.
I mean, it's a smart move. It's efficient.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I haven't had enough street tacos in my life in the last couple of years. That's going to change soon, given that our new studio has a taco truck across the street from it.
Shut the fuck up.
So.
Oh, that's so good. I didn't know that.
You didn't? How did you not know that?
Did you eat tacos with us outside when we were waiting to film that video?
No, I didn't eat.
Oh, shit.
Did you see us get
dude.
tacos?
I kind of didn't really know where they came from. I saw you walk away, but I thought you went to a corner store because Cool Guy came back with like some drink.
There's a corner store
big ass
across the street from the taco place. So
yeah, they're like next to each other.
Wow.
30 feet from the studio, there's a taco truck.
That's
and it's
really
fantastic.
exciting.
It is so good. And the best thing about
so
this taco
nice
truck is it's been there majority of my life. And I remember back in the day, these tacos were like 99 cents each.
Oh,
and it's just
nice.
like, are you kidding me? You can't get better than that. And like, granted, life, time, everything changes, inflation, all that shit. These tacos, they're like $150 each.
Oh, wow.
I am utterly shocked. The quality's still there, and they're giving these things away.
It's like those bags, Tim, of chips where they print the price on the bag, and you could tell these large outlet stores don't like that. They don't like that, Greg. You go to these stores and you'll see you've started to see new packaging come along because the Flamin' Hot Fry $2 bag would put, I'm a $2 bag. And the store's like, fuck, I guess you are. Like, I guess I can't reprice you. Because the other chip bag that's about the same size, we're selling that for $3.20, but this stupid ass Flamin' Hot Fry bag. And I wonder if there were ever talks about that, because the new bags out now say $2.69 or $3.24 or whatever the fuck, and they have it printed on the bag instead of just like a price tag or whatever. Also, Santitas tortilla chips are like the yellow bags, the ones from back home. Those also had the price printed in a very like, we did this in our own printing facility, and I wonder if there's ever like a struggle there. Like, what are the politics there? You know what I mean? Very curious.
MSRP, the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
In the chat here, Kurt W says having shrimp tacos for dinner, actually, corn tortillas. And that's where he fucked up. He's going to have some leathery ass fucking tortillas instead of nice, pillowy, soft, delicious flour.
There's going to be some good, there's going to be a good dinner tonight. It was a good call.
Now this is a take that's going to get me in trouble, but this is,
I'm not hating on other people. The bench. We've been seeing you vanilla ass Tim not say anything of value for a long time in this episode.
I'm not hating on people that like this. I'm just saying, personally, my taste buds don't enjoy fish tacos. I've tried many times, any like fish, shrimp, any of that stuff. And the reason is it's the flavor profile of the cabbage. Once you add that cabbage element and then the white sauce that I swear to God is always a different white sauce. It's always close to what is it, Greg? This like white fish taco sauce.
Tartar sauce? I mean, it's not. What are you said close to, so you threw me there. It's a lemony
like a lemony tartar sauce, yeah.
It's a Jen. What's the fancy mayo that people make? Aioli. It's an aioli. It's a lemony aioli.
Exactly. And there's just no consistency place to place to place. And it always, I feel like the gamut's wider for the taste you're going to get compared to salsas, where it's like salsas have their own flavor profiles, but like, you know what you're getting into.
They're calling it Rubio's white sauce. It's
got it. Well, there's the Rubio's.
Rubio's is a chain. Yeah.
Is a chain that does this. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. I've learned. Because I love shrimp, I love fish, I love tacos. You'd think I'd want all three together, but anytime I have it, I'm always like, I should have got chicken, I should have got steak, I should have got pork. Yeah.
It's like I like pickles, I like burgers, I like buns. Don't like pickles on burgers though.
I feel that. That's how I am with a lot of things, actually. And I hate that. That was always the argument your parents would come back at you at. Well, you like eating cheese on pizza. Why don't you like cheese on your burger? It's like, well, it's a different thing. I don't know what you want me to say, Father. I'm 8 years old. What do you want me to do? You know, let me go play with my fucking Connects. Or
I like cheese on pizza, but I wanted to say Bionicle. Cheese on macaroni. You know, Andy, just let us.
Well, it was just never given. Mac and cheese. Again, it was just never given to me. It's not that I don't like macaroni and cheese. I can't tell you I don't like how it tastes. What's the go-to taco order when you do go to one of these street bars?
Now, before we get to that, Andy,
and what's the process?
Well, I want to start with what's the number? How many tacos are you getting?
Street tacos?
It's street tacos. Yeah, not like restaurant tacos.
And here's my immediate questions thrown back in your fucking face, where I'm like, usually you go there and if you said I want, an order of tacos, it's already a pre-subscribed number, right? So are you talking if this is a 1-by-1 place, I'm going to be able to go from?
Yeah. A lot of the taco trucks, you just say like, I'll get 2 of that.
I would do 3. I would do 3. That's where I usually start. Honestly, I probably end up going burrito because look at the flour tortilla, which is superior, but I go 3.
Here's a question: am I gonna have sex later, Tim?
No.
You, Andy. So only you can answer that question.
Okay, so no is the answer. Then I'm going with 3. Because you always kind of want to limit the food intake if you're going on a date where you're like, maybe this is it, maybe this is the night.
So hold on, you're telling me that if you were going to have sex, the number would be less than 3?
Oh yeah, I would eat significantly less. Yeah, I don't want to feel like garbage and bloated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but you think
when I take off my shirt, I want to look passable. What's up?
You think 3 tacos is going to get you the bloated
state? Yeah. Because here's the thing. Bringing it back around to the chip thing right here. I love to take a bite of a chip, take a bite of the taco, take a bite of the chip. I love having that flavor or that texture war right there.
Yeah. See, you adding the chips does change things for me, because I look at it, I'm always like 3 is the baseline, because 2 is just a tease. 1, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, what am I trying to do here? What am I doing?
Exactly.
You eat 1 if you're on a diet. You're like, no, I'm not eating tonight, and then you're like, fuck it, I'll have 1.
I need something. Yeah, but I think that like 3 is the baseline. You start there, and then you have to decide what you're going from there. Because I think that 4 is, I've learned, the ultimate number for me to feel fulfilled. I'm good. This was an entire meal, and the best thing about it is it fills the entire plate. You know what I mean? Because you get the four corners of the plate, you're good. Now,
when you
Kevin,
came back from the taco
Kevin
truck
likes to
when we
get
were waiting, you bought 4.
Kevin's a little crazy, where he sometimes likes to go
told
5.
you that.
I know. He likes to go 5 because his argument is there's a place in the middle that you could put that 5th one, you know? And like, honestly, you can have the 4 on the plate and you're really taking one down already. So then you still have 4 left.
True.
But 5 tacos is a lot of tacos.
That's
like that to me is that point where you're like, I can't have sex now by Andy rules.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I understand what Andy's saying, right? You know what I mean? Where he's like, you're like, oh, is it that small of a window? But think about how tight Andy wears his clothes to begin with, because Andy knows he's got a great body. And so then, yeah, you go one too many tacos, you're gonna start feeling it. You're gonna start doing. You do that thing where you sit down. You're like, oh, you gotta kind of sit up straighter because your shirt is doing that bulbous.
Yeah,
thing.
you always got to do the stretch of the shirt. Yeah. It's always like I'm lucky that when I was in high school, I developed a broader sort of chest. Right, like my boobs are kind of bigger, and
it's
they
from all
kind of
the guitar playing, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it was a lot of baseball. Like I'll never forget first day back to baseball, and I was doing bench presses, and I severely like tore something in my chest to the point where my right pec was gigantic and my left one was not, and like I had really pulled or torn something in there, and it was so swollen. It was like it didn't hurt. I was like sore from just working out like usual, but the right one was so big. Anyway, when you develop a chest, you sort of give yourself a little bit of insurance for the overhang for the belly, because the belly's there.
I'm
the belly's
wide at the bottom.
Yeah, Greg, the belly's not going anywhere. Like I've been going to the gym more consistently. The belly is very much here to stay either way. But it's like, how can I manage that? Now, if I'm eating food and then I add a beer on top of that, if I go to Pluckers and I'm getting a Blue Moon, it is bloat city. It is bloat city, and you never want that, especially if you think that you might have sex.
That is the trouble. Yeah, that you definitely have to worry about that.
But now, Tim, I want to tell you this.
Yeah.
When I went back home, my dad and my parents kept sort of telling me, "Oh man, Brenda, who's my sister-in-law, that she kicked ass the other night and had this sort of taco cookout thing." I was like, "Damn, that sounds really cool." And so my brother hit me up and was like, "Andy, we're doing the taco cookout thing," and they borrow the neighbor's sort of like flat grill, and it's a fuckload of meat with Tupperwares of like, here's all the cilantro, here's all the lime, here's all the either grilled onions or raw onions or whatever. Here's everything, like, and you just sort of make your own tacos there. And I went for 4 that day. I went for 4.
Sure, you had to.
It was amazing.
You can when somebody whips out the flat iron, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're out there they got those. Did she have the long paddles? Like the long, chopping
I didn't
with the thing, flipping it around like this.
No, I didn't see the process of it, because I feel like when we got there, all the meat was already pretty much cooked. So they had the chicken and they had the beef steak, like just the beef or whatever, and it was amazing.
That sounds like exactly what I want from this type of situation. We don't need to get crazy with all of this. I do appreciate, though, the 2 levels of salsa. I like having a more mild one and then a spicier one that you can kind of pick and choose, where it's like, okay, if I'm getting 4 tacos, I might go 2 and 2, or maybe I'll go like 1 and 1, and then the other 2 are kind of a 50-50 mix.
I feel that. I can feel that. Because for me, like, again, if the cops come in here and say, "Andy, you're wanted for the murder of Abraham Lincoln."
Wow, they say Greg Miller.
Death sentence. Oh yeah, that's right. Death sentence, Andy. We're gonna kill you. Okay. You have
yes, we know what a death sentence is.
You have your choice. You have your choice at 1 taco. What are you gonna eat?
Ooh.
And
cheesy
or not just one, but like, we can go one place to get your final taco. For the millionth time, I'm going to Taco Deli in Austin, Texas.
Oh, you do love Taco Deli.
And I'm getting, again, it's double corn tortillas or whatever, but it is al pastor. It's got lime. I put a shitload of lime. Oh my God. It's got al pastor, it's cilantro, it's onions. Put a shitload of lime in there with the green doña sauce. And it's just like, not the hottest salsa, but the one right below it. Dab a little bit of that green doña sauce. and I'm taking a bite of that, and it's like spicy because it's got that red adobo sort of sauce all in that pork. And then I'm taking a bite of the tortilla chip, and it is just such a delight. And I feel like I was so close to going to Austin with my parents when I was back home, just so we could get Pluckers, Greg, and then Taco Deli later. Like, we were so close to just doing a weekend trip of let's go up, see some family, sure, but also eat at the places that I can't eat at while I'm down
here.
I
would kill for Pluckers right now.
Yeah. I want it.
Tim, what's your process?
I mean, I usually try to keep it pretty simple. Like, let's just say 4 is what I'm going for. I go 2 chicken, 2 steak. And usually, like I said, I like to vary the level of spice so that my mouth's not dying, but I do like heat for sure. So yeah, 2 chicken, 2 steak, 2 mild, 2 spicy. The order in which I take them down, that's how I'm feeling in the moment, man.
Yeah, you got to play that one by ear.
Yeah, what I normally will do is I'll start with one, either the chicken or steak, depending on what is enticing me at the moment, and then whatever one I like best, I will end my final taco on that one.
Oh, yeah, I like that. You sort of judge it in the middle of it and go, okay, I'm going to end with here. Similar to when you get a good burger and fries, like today the fries are really
tomorrow's it might be a burger day. Yeah,
they're popping off. So I'm going to finish this day with the fries. Yeah,
it's an art trying to balance the meal like that to make sure you end on the perfect last bite. You know what I mean? And just go out on top, Babe Ruth style.
Greg, what about you? What's your ideal taco? What's the process?
Well, I mean, like for me, it's gonna be: is this a new place and a different place? I'm usually if I'm doing 3,
it's
like
a place that's got everything you want.
Well, what I'm gonna do then, I would come in and I'm gonna say it's a place that's got everything I want, but it's new. It's I haven't been to it before, right? So I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna do 3 tacos. I'm gonna want carne asada. I'm gonna want al pastor. I'm gonna want carnitas. I'm gonna go that way.
I like it.
That's the rundown of that. I'm gonna want, right. And then of course when you get them, I like to see what's already on them, where we're going. Obviously you're gonna have the onions on it. Obviously you're gonna have some cilantro. I'll obviously put more cilantro on there. In terms of salsas, that's another one too. Like right. I remember La Fonda, Tim, when we used to go there and they had all the salsa bar. Big fan of a salsa bar, right? Because for me, I'm very picky about salsas, and I couldn't even tell you what it is. I want a little bit of heat, not too much. I don't want to burn myself out, but I don't want it to just be tomato, right? I don't want it to be the pico de gallo, which I appreciate here and there, but not enough to where I want all of it, right? But I want a red salsa that has a bit of heat, but has more of a complex flavor profile, right? And that's where you get these chipotles. You get your basic reds. I don't want them too chunky, but I do want some body to them. I don't want them too watery. I don't want it to just be a liquid I'm dumping on my taco, right? I want that nice paste that's right in between them, right? Some good red. I can see the spices in there, maybe a bit of jalapeno. That's what I'm looking for out of that. Putting that on there too.
See, I'm team chunk it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Love that chunk.
I love just sort of the minimal liquidity to it.
Sure.
I rarely love a whole lot of chunkiness on the chip or on the tortilla. Like I kind of like that.
I want a good juicy chip. I want to go in there. I want to get a good scoop. I want a good body, but again, I don't want it running off the sides. But then I don't want to be able to be like, oh, this is the top of the tomato, right? Like I want
more liquid than like I'm biting into vegetables right now. I want it to be more liquidy for sure.
See, but I like when you forget you're even eating a vegetable and all of a sudden you're just eating this beautiful, like, cacophony of spices.
What I really got to do is figure out a way to bring some of my grandma salsa up here and it will blow your fucking brains apart.
Yeah, I still think
so hot and good and homemade. It's amazing.
Our top scientists are going to beat COVID any day now, right? And we'll be able to get back to our normal life. When we do that, I still think we all go to the RGV. I want to go party with Andy's family. Can you imagine, Tim? Let's go back.
Oh, man. It
Brenda's cookout. Let's go.
You're going to think it's so lame. Like,
no way.
Dude, the Valley is so lame. Like every time I go back, it's like I love going back because of the people, and that's it. Like
but that'll be the fun for us is the people and seeing like the people that like you grew up with.
We're going to Peter Piper's. Yeah, we're gonna hang out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to Peter Piper for sure. But goddamn,
it is like one night only.
Anytime I go down there, it is just wild to me how nothing has evolved, and it has looked the same since the day I was born and probably 30 years prior to that. And it just looks old. And if anything, there's stuff missing now. And there are certain pockets where it is very commercialized. And that's where all of the people coming over from Mexico go shop because they're the rich people. And that's how those economies are really booming in those certain areas of McAllen. But for the rest of it, it is so just flat, and it looks like it's straight up stuck in 1950, like Jeff Ross said, that comedian one time. It's wild how you go down there. It's like I couldn't imagine living in a large city and coming down here and being like, what is this place? This is such a weird area to me.
That's what it's like going back to Cleveland too.
And speaking of the Valley, my brother contracted COVID recently. He's doing fine. He's vaxxed up. He felt a little bit sick, felt some symptoms. He lost some of his taste, his sense of taste and smell for a bit.
Sure.
But he's been quarantining, so he's just like been in a room away from the kids and my sister-in-law. And the best thing to come out of COVID, the best thing to come out of him getting COVID, is that I convinced him to watch all of Breaking Bad.
Wow.
For his whole quarantine.
What a
and
gift,
he watched all of that motherfucker in about 5 days. It like, because what I'm doing, I always gauge. You always got to do the gauge with people whenever you're talking about Breaking Bad. Where are you at? Start the show. It's really good. I don't know. This is kind of weird, whatever. When you get to episode 3 and Crazy 8 gets stabbed by Walter White, when Walter White has him handcuffed to that pole in his garage or whatever, because he's scared and he'd knocked him out with that gas or whatever. And Crazy 8's begging for like trust. Walter, you trust me, right, Walter? Come on, like just undo the cuffs and find the key. And you find that moment that he's gonna try to kill Walter White, and Walter White stabs him. That's the moment where you're like, holy shit, you're in. You're in right from there. If you haven't been in yet, you're in now. So I was like, Aaron, where are you at, dude? Because like episode 3 is always like that one moment. He's like, oh, I'm on episode 8 of season 2. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then yesterday, all throughout most of yesterday, he's texting me updates. Oh my God, I can't. Holy shit, this fucking guy. Oh my God, Hank Schrader is and dude. And then he eventually just like, I think he just texted me like, what the fuck? And I didn't see it until like 2 hours later. I was like, what happened? He was like, I finished it, man. He was like, God damn, dude. Like, that is.
I can't imagine going on that journey
what a show.
In 5 days, Andy. Like, remember, like, watching that show, like, weekly? And, like, especially that last season where it's, like, part 1. And,
well,
like,
so I never had.
What?
I remember him texting me being like, yeah, this season's 16 episodes. Why is it so long? Season 5. I was like, oh, they broke it up into 2 halves. They had like a mid-season thing.
God, it was the longest wait ever, Andy.
And for me, I watched all of it in that mid-season break.
Nice.
That was like
way to do it, Andy.
Where I started watching it, and I watched season 1 through 5.1 or whatever, all that way through. And so I was like, Aaron, can you believe that like it ended on that cliffhanger?
Yeah, dude.
That
and
big
we waited,
moment.
It was like a year and a half that we waited for like Hank on the toilet, which is all I'll say. Like that moment.
Remember that?
And then like
remember that? What a moment!
Oh God, I want to.
That was the other day. Like God. I was, my usual ritual is to play video games till about midnight, right, and then go to bed. But now what it's become is play a little bit before and stop right before midnight, or get to midnight and go a little bit after. But then the TikTok wind down time, where I watch some TikToks. I, let the mind rest. It's been going a million miles up here. The gerbils running around, keeping the wheels spinning. And Andy, if I'm lying, I'm dying. The other day, I'm going through the TikTok, and the algorithm pulls a pivotal scene out in the desert. Walter White, Hank, another guy, has some of his crony friends or whatever, right? And it was broken up over like 7 parts, and I got like part 1 or whatever, and I watched it.
You have to watch all of it.
Motherfucker, clicked on this random ass profile that's just Breaking Bad clips and watched the entire fucking scene, right?
Walt, you're the smartest man I've ever met in my life. You're the smallest. I am A-Sack Schrader. Oh my God,
dude.
Andy,
I watched Breaking Bad together. Let's fucking get the.
I done a similar thing where I watched I forget how many seasons of Breaking Bad, but watched a whole bunch of them, and then I think maybe the last 2 seasons I watched live every week or whatever. But like, man, what a show! What a show! Breaking Bad.
It is one of the few shows to absolutely stick the landing and surpass your expectations, and it's so difficult to do that when you have a show that was kind of like, in my opinion, perfect all the way through. It's like, how is this going to end in a satisfying way? And we go back to the Game of Thrones argument. It's just like, that obviously didn't stick the landing, and it's so hard to do so. But when you have a show like Breaking Bad, it makes expectations even higher, and you sort of have to hit a mark like that. and it's just so difficult to do. But goddamn, dude,
and think about this. It got
shit.
a spin-off show that is just as good.
It's so good. I hope they get back to filming soon. I hope Bob Odenkirk is all better now. But goddamn, what a show. So anyway, that was part of my delight of knowing that, like, all right, my brother's quarantining right now. He's he's doing better. He's recovering, and also he's watching Breaking Bad, and I'm getting updates from him finally. Because for the longest time,
you must love that too. You must just love getting these updates, just waiting on it, like, oh, what's happening? It reminds me of me and Greg whenever a new embargoed game comes out and like one of us gets to play it before the other person. And we just like give it the updates. They're like, oh shit, did you get to this part yet? I love that shit.
I mean, it's part of that reaction culture. It's why everybody's enjoying watching Mike and Barrett experience Metal Gear. It's why anybody loves seeing, oh, that person is experiencing this long treasured piece of media for the first time. I have to see how they react because it means so much to me. Mm-hmm. And so getting these text updates from him and being like, holy shit, dude, Gus Fring in the hospital, like, oh my God. Well, like all of these moments are just so memorable in media, like not just TV history, but just like in media. It's amazing, dude. And Better Call Saul is such a good show, and if you haven't given it a shot, what are you doing? It is amazing.
Matthew Lewis in the chat said it's better when I had said like it's just as good, and I responded I didn't want to say that out loud, but it honestly I think I like better.
It does something different. It's different. It's hard to compare them. I think you can compare something like Breaking Bad to Ozark. You could compare something like Breaking Bad to another crime show having to do with drugs or whatever. But Better Call Saul, it's a different beast, and it is so goddamn impressive. Yeah. Rewatching it and then realizing, oh my God, this show is so smart and so well written. God damn.
I also need to wait for it to end to like really figure out how I feel between the two shows. But yeah, it's just, man, I'm gonna rewatch all of it, Andy. Just hold my come into the living room, hold my hand, and let's just rewatch all of it together. Now, have you told your brother to watch El Camino?
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna tell him to watch that. Well, then he always sees me tweet about Better Call Saul, and then he ended up tweeting me, "Hey, is this that same guy from that show Better Call Saul? Like, is this related?" I was like, "Yeah, but that's a prequel." And he was like, "Oh shit, that's cool." And it's finally, because I had mentioned a long time ago on a Kind of Funny podcast that my brother was all about Narcos. And my brother doesn't watch a lot of TV, but he was like, dude, you got to watch Narcos. And I was like, no, motherfucker. I've been telling you to watch Breaking Bad for the last 5 years, dude. It is one of the best shows, if not the best show ever. Watch that. And then I'll watch the one show that you watched. Fuck off. It's so good. So that's one of the positives.
You know, a lot of times we have conversations on these shows and things get heated. And you're not sure, am I the problem? I'd like to report that I am not the problem. 2 polls are out right now. They were mistakenly set, one for 15 minutes, but I set it for 15 hours, one for 10 minutes, but I set it for 10 hours. Cheetos regular, flaming hot. Regular is winning with 51.3% of the vote. And then tortillas, corn, flour, 56% of the vote is going to flour.
We're not putting
nothing
them against each other.
Phantom Killaway. People will pretend to prefer corn for authenticity right up until confronted with the A/B taste test. And then it's always flour that wins out. Flour is just better. The only time when corn is better is if you're frying it into hard shells or tortilla chips. Flour is bad for that. Phantom Killaway, your icon is just an eyeball, but I respect you, eyeball person out there on the internet. You know what I mean?
I probably have this person muted.
First time they've ever had respect in their lives.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 3 best friends gather on this table, each coming to bullshit with each other about whatever it is they want to bullshit about. If you want to bullshit with us, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny, where of course you can write in your own topics. You can get the show ad free. You can get it with the exclusive post show we do each and every episode. You can be watching live just like Madeline Stanley is, Cap Charisma is, the Lou R. If you're watching live, just enjoy yourself and only agree with me. I saw a lot of you arguing against me. Don't do that. You You won't get read here. You know what I mean? That's not how it's going to work for you.
That's not how this works.
It's not going to work out for you if you don't agree with me. Of course, if you have no bucks to toss our way and get the shows early, ad-free, and with your own input, no big deal. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunny, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe each and every week, twice a week, to get brand spanking new episodes, all for your listening and viewing enjoyment. Some housekeeping for you. The Blessing Show is back this Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we are doing the Blessing Show indefinitely now. It's coming back the first Thursday of every month. This is the first one. You can get it at 7 a.m. Pacific on youtube.com/kindafunny. It will be a YouTube premiere. Blessing and Roger Pokorny, the editor, will be in the chat to talk to you as it airs. So check that out, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. The Blessing Show is back. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Julian, the gluten-free gamer, Steve Powers. Today, we're brought to you by MeUndies. And hey, why don't we tell you about that right now?
This episode is brought to you by Babbel. When you're traveling to a destination where you don't know the language, it can be challenging to accomplish even the simplest of tasks. Tell me that isn't true. You know, there's one time I remember I was in Bali and I was very overwhelmed, not understanding what was going on. And that could have easily been solved if I had Babbel in my life back then. Thankfully, there's Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app. Babbel is a travel essential. Greg Miller's been learning a little French here and there so he can better communicate with one Geneviève Saint-Onge Miller. You know what I'm talking about? Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Pretty cool. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. So that's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to babbel.com and use promo code MORNING. That's BABBEL.com, code MORNING. Babbel, language for life. Next up, shout out to HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Fall is busy, but HelloFresh recipes save time you'd otherwise spend meal planning, shopping, and shopping, so you can get back to what matters. HelloFresh's family-friendly menu is a big win for back-to-school season with easy, delicious recipes for drama-free dinners. So many members of Kinda Funny have been loving HelloFresh, including Kevin Coelho and Paula Coelho. She's a vegetarian. He's not. Guess what? There's options for both. It's great. So much cool stuff. You can go to HelloFresh.com/morning14 and use code morning14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/morning14 and use code morning14 for up to 14 free meals. Very cool. Go check that out now. One more time. HelloFresh.com/morning14 and use code morning14 for up to 14 free meals and free shipping. And finally, shout out to MeUndies. It's fall, y'all. Replace those hydration stations with pumpkin spice lattes and go out of your way to step on crunchy leaves because the coziest time of the year has arrived. I love MeUndies. I'm obviously wearing a MeUndies shirt right now, MeUndies lounge pants, MeUndies undies, and MeUndies socks because that's the type of life that I live. I just love their soft micromodal fabric and I want it all over my body. MeUndies, can you make some bomber jackets? Please. I want them very, very bad. Imagine the softest thing you've ever felt. Now imagine that's the thing on your butt. That is MeUndies. They're designed by the country's top softness scientists to be the softest thing you've ever worn, period. It's so true. I can attest. To get 50% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning to get 15% off and free shipping for first-time purchasers. And if you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they'll refund or exchange it. No caveats, no questions. MeUndies.com/morning. One more time, MeUndies.com/morning.
Andy, how's
I'm looking for this fucking dumbass. Where's this stupid ass person in your comments?
I mean, you can just, it's right there, right, pretty much towards the top there for me.
I don't see it.
Yeah. I assure you, I didn't manufacture a phantom kilaway. It's Lord Zephyr on Twitter, LordZyPher. If you want to go straight to the source here, that makes a great one. You know what I mean? I do. There's a lot of whole bunch of people who are being very polite about it, which I appreciate. Joshua Millard said, corn, not close, IMO, but there's definitely nothing wrong with flour. I just have incredible love of all things corn. There was another one that was very like, hey, man, whatever floats your boat. Like, oh, yeah, here it is. Justin,
I replied, you don't know anything to that person.
Yeah, you didn't. You want to do that.
I did.
Insult our fans that way. Over on the Cheetos poll, Justin Harwood said regular, but I just can't work with what Yeah, but I just can't work with whatever combination of spices makes flaming hot. I'll eat Fuego Takis all day, but flaming hot just doesn't agree with me. Happy everyone else gets to enjoy them. Some very nice people on Twitter today. You know what I mean? They're wrong sometimes, but not all the time. The ones I just read were right. Again, if you want to be read on the show, you should probably agree with me. It's easier to do that way than fight me, because then there's nothing ever happens. You know what I mean?
Nothing ever happens if you fight, Greg.
No, I mean, you can get out of this scot-free, or you can have your name drugged through the mud on the internet. It's your choice, Taki boy. What do you want it to be? Michael Duggan writes into patreon.com/kindafunny and says, with Greg's child quickly approaching, what are your power rankings, Greg, for the Kinda Funny member you would most trust to babysit your child for a weekend?
Oh, God. I'm interested in this.
So
because there's a lot that goes into it in my mind. So I'm excited to see where your head takes you, Greg.
I'm not just going to go, here's the list, bottom is top. I'm going to insert names and rank that way. All right. We're going to do basically like a live Ragu Bagu, but it's a live Ragu Basie. Right? Ragu. Basie. This is Rad Guys Talk Babysitters. What do you thought? So we're going to rank and review each one of the Kinda Funny employees on who I think should start with my child and take care of my child, right? I'm looking right at Tim's face.
Horrifying.
So we enter Tim. We enter Tim, right? At number 1, because he's the only one on the list so far. Now, Tim, of course, wants nothing to do with children. Doesn't want to take care of my kid. He wants to be down there, watching his movies, playing his games, playing Halo like some kind of psychopath with a controller in one hand and a mouse in the other. It just doesn't make sense. But the reason I look at Tim and I go, you know what? Of course, Gia. It's not like Gia's not going to be there. Gia would love to take care of a child, my child. Again, going to be great. Going to be there.
It's cheating, though. Not the question. Not the question. We can't count Gia. Gia can't count.
The power rankings for the Kinda Funny member you would most trust with your babysit your child for a weekend. You and Gia inseparable.
Yeah, I mean, okay. If
I'm putting her in there. This is my power rankings. When you conceive a child and you're a month away from having that child pop out of Gia, then you're allowed to do whatever you want when you make the rules.
I agree. Real setups here. Yeah, they're very much a tag team. You're getting 2 quality human beings to take care of a child, and
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think you can have just him alone, and like they are very inseparable. They're in the same house. That's just what it is.
It's the same thing if I was doing anything, taking care of anything. Jen would be part of the equation. She's going to be around here. She's going to be doing stuff. That's at least how I'm viewing the power rankings.
I get it. I'm just saying that I think that if you're going to do that, you might as well just take me out of it. And it's just Gia and Jed and Paula. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like, that's how it's going to shape up today. All right, Tim? So you can sit there, you can drink your fucking LaCroix.
Eating your fucking normal-ass Cheetos with your incorrect tortillas. All right.
Get him, Tim.
Thank you.
Next up, because I'm looking at him, Andy. And I'm going to put Andy at number 2, below Tim and Gia. You know what I mean? And this, I want to make sure everybody understands. At no point are these insults hurled at my friends and coworkers. I love, respect, and trust all of them. In a bind, in a pinch, Andy, the house is on fire. Jen's turned into some kind of moth. I've got to wrestle this moth and get it over to the scientist to get help, get Jen turned back into a person. Right. Andy, can you take my child? I'm not worried about the child. I mean, I might be worried about the child turning into a moth. I'm not sure what exactly turned Jen into a moth. But what I'm saying is I'm not thinking Andy is going to kill my child. Andy can't take care of a child. You know what I mean? No. Andy's got Google in his hand. He knows what's up. It's more Andy goes below Tim and Gia because Andy, of course, running the stream schedule, sleeping crazy hours of the day, playing games.
That's so true, dude. Like on weekends, I'm going to bed at 6 a.m. That I think this works pretty fine. But also, this is one of those things where on the MCU watch list, we watched Hulk second. And I feel like I'm only second place right now because we watched it second,
Oh, yeah. No, you're going to
more
fall
names come through. Sure. Yeah, I'm going to fall down pretty far.
This isn't me saying like, hey, this is where you're ending. This is what I'm talking about. I'm taking them as I come. Because right here you have big Barrett Courtney, the boss baby, entering the picture, right? Barrett Courtney's going right to number 1 with a bullet. You kidding me? Because here's the thing. Of course, Barrett comes with Alyssa. Alyssa, I think as soon as Jen mentioned she was pregnant, Alyssa was like, I am down to babysit anytime. And teach. Well, yeah. Yeah, we're going to homeschool, but it'll just be that Alyssa will send our child to boarding school at your house where Alyssa will teach. No. Barrett comes with Alyssa, and Alyssa, of course, in the Gia boat of down to take care of a baby. But also, Barrett, I think, would be down to hang out with my baby too. Barrett would enjoy taking care of the baby.
Sure.
Barrett, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I mean, that's we tag team taking care of Lulu all the time, and we enjoy that. We watched Porty one weekend for y'all, and that was definitely that was a team effort. We both had like different responsibilities with taking care of Porty, and we would definitely both do that for the baby.
Definitely thought he was about to say we watched porn. No, we watched Porty.
We watched Porty. We watched porn. It's what we did at your house.
Right. By the way,
yeah.
When you all settle on a name, can I get exclusive rights to the news so I can announce it on my stream?
Oof.
I'll pay. Oof. Like, let me know what I need to pay. My agents will call you.
Can you pay me for when you announced Lulu's name before we did?
That's awesome. Did that happen?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Really? Doesn't sound like me.
Andy is offering to pay us for exclusive rights to announce our child on his stream. She's thinking about it. She didn't say no right away. So there it is.
Great.
Again, now, may they rest in peace with our eyes. We'll start getting into Nick and Kevin. Nick, of course, goes dead last. All right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, this isn't that I think Nick would kill my child. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to be clear. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that, Andy, I come to you. Jen is turned into a moth and the house is on fire. I have to take care of this. Can you take care of me? Oh my God, of course, Greg. We're friends. We have a lot of jokes on the internet, but we're really close and we love each other. I'll take care of this baby. I'll make sure you guys are okay. Don't worry about it. I'll Google what to do. I'll go buy some diapers at CVS. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
If I went, hey, Nick, can you take care of my child? Jen's turned into a moth and I need to do this. Nick would go, yeah. And he would take it. And then for the next fucking 17 years, every time on a podcast, when we start doing our joking bicker, Nick would eventually get down to, maybe I got to take care of your kid today. Maybe I got to do this. You know what I mean?
That's
and it's
so
also
true.
It's also the thing of Nick walking in the door with my baby to D. It doesn't matter that the excuse is Greg's wife turned into a moth and he's got to take the moth to a scientist to figure out how to turn it back into Jen. D is upset. You know what I mean?
That's why I went too long on this podcast not talking shit about Nick. So I'm happy we're here. He's not here. This motherfucker more than anybody deserves some shit. I don't think, I can't off the top of my head remember a time the podcast was this lineup right now. Just the three of us. Normally it's not Nick that's not here.
Well, Nick's not in demand and he's got no engagements. Of course, yeah. Nobody wants to be around him. He's always here.
Him not being here right now, it's like he fucking deserves some of the shit that he throws at each and every one of us when we're not on the show. So Greg, thank you. Thank you for calling it like it is.
And my thing, of course, is D's not going to accept any excuse. And then that's the reason I'm going to hear about it for 15 years is because D's going to remind Nick about it for 15 years. Even though, to the credit, I bet D doesn't remind him about all the things he gets annoyed, that he yells at us about being annoyed about, right? It's more the fact that he feels like he annoyed D. So now he takes that on his shoulders and then he takes it out on us. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. The Jen being a moth isn't going to fly with him. You know what I mean?
No.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Now we're into. Oh, I said we do Kevin next. Kevin next, right? Yeah, of course. Snake bite Kevin.
Snake bite Kevin. That's what they call him.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I think Kevin has the highest risk of injury to the child.
Yeah.
But it'll still always come out to no injury.
Yeah.
But going into it, you're still scared. And even though the last 40 times he's babysitted, nothing has happened. Everything's been perfectly well. Sure. He's still running with that child while trying to build a shed. And there's always some sort of danger lurking.
Sure.
I'm not promising
nails on the ground.
Injury, but I am promising that he'll solve the injury to the best of his ability. So by the time you get it, he's going to be properly bandaged.
Duct tape cast when he comes back. Bandaged. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Again, Kevin's mechanic, butcher, and doctor are the same person. He fixed it. You know what I mean? He fixed the problem on this kid already. And that's why it might surprise you, ladies and gentlemen. But Kevin is coming into the babysitting rankings at number 2. Behind Barrett and Alyssa, knocking Tim and Gia down on that peg.
Am I including Paula in this ranking here?
Yes. Okay. It's Kevin and Paula because, of course, I'm taking in when I'm doing this, I'm like Child Protective Services. I'm coming in and I'm thinking of the entire home, not just part of it. You know what I mean? And the reason Kevin and Paula go here is because we all know Kevin is, for all the shit we give him and everything else on camera, Kevin is dad. Kevin is the dad of the group. When I have a problem here trying to fix something's wrong with my car, I don't text my father. He's working in a crane or he's asleep getting ready to go to work in the crane the next day. Text Kevin. Kevin's going to know. Kevin's going to have something fixed. Kevin's going to be able to fix something.
He's the uncle.
Sure. And that's why I think it falls in. Also, Kevin also really wants to be a father. And Kevin also kind of was a father to Spencer, right? Tim, I'm not speaking out of turn there, right? Like, I feel like, especially in these older years, that's why Spencer's all fucked up because, like, Kevin, was his role model and was, like, teaching him what to do, taking care of him on these things. And so I think Kevin really wants to be a dad. And I think Kevin is going to be a great dad. And I think he'd be a great, cool uncle to take care of the kid here. This is where I think Paula, of course, never wants to make a baby with Kevin, from what I hear. You know what I mean? She's always punting this thing way out. She doesn't know, and who can blame her? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're going to be outnumbered by Kevin's in that house real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want that problem.
Here's what I'll say.
You're already outnumbered, and it's 1-1.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what I'll say about this is, I've known Kevin pretty much my entire life. I've known Alfredo pretty much my entire life. And with Alfredo, one thing that everyone knows about him, very good at first-person shooters, right?
Yes, we do know that.
As he's gotten older, he's gotten less good. Like he lost his edge. He's no longer the god that he used to be.
Sure.
In the same way with Kevin, the things that I would credit Kevin of, like, how many times have we talked about zombie apocalypse? What does Tim do? He calls Kevin, all that stuff. I'm not saying he's not that guy still, but he's losing his edge. There's been more times in the last 3 years that Kevin's led me astray than the rest of my years combined. So I'm like, I don't know if this is the best call for you, Greg. And for the modern time, 2021.
I just feel like Kevin would, center in there. He would be on it. You know what I mean? Yes, my baby will be riding Cecil at some point. Not because my baby tried to. Kevin thought it would be interesting. You know what I mean? He would put it on there. He spent all afternoon making a saddle for my baby to put it in the saddle and then put it onto Cecil. I understand these are the problems I might go into. But I still think Kevin, in terms of our grouping here, in our power rankings, that's where he's going to go, number 2. So if you're paying, Barrett, do you want to throw up the power rankings real quick for a quick recap if you're joining us? Maybe you blacked out at the wheel. You came back. We were talking about chips. Now we're talking about this. Right now for the power rankings for Ragu Basi, it is number 1, Barrett and Alyssa. Number 2, Kevin and Paula. Number 3, Tim and Gia. Number 4, Andy. Number 5, Nick and D. Nick,
you don't say babysitter.
So it should be Ba-si.
It could have been Basie, like babies.
Well, I mean, Andy, nobody's locking you out of it, fixing it. Let's fix it right now. We're having fun.
I guess goo means
I was about
guys.
to say.
Yeah. I guess it is kind of going with the theme of just it not really meaning what it sounds like, or vice versa.
Now let's get a ball touch from the one and only here. All right, well, I got the basketball, Andy. We've been passing it around. I'm not going to pass the basketball over to Joey Noel. All right, Joey Noel, of course, the number 1 Portillo babysitter, as we all know. She's the one who comes over. She stays. She currently has keys to our new place, right? Because eventually she's going to get a phone call. Joey, it's happening. Jen's in labor. Here's where we left off with Portillo. I need you to come over here ASAP and take care of Portillo, all right? Here's what I'm going to do, and it's going to shock and appall many of you, all right? I think I'm going to put Joey Noel currently, stick with me, everybody, because there's an asterisk on this. Joey's going in at number 4. She's going in beneath Tim and Gia, above Andy, all right? Now, you might say, what an insult. Joey Noel has taken such great care of this dog for so long. You know what I mean? Joey Noel, a great person. We already know this, right? Salt of the earth, great human being. Joey Noel, such a good human being. She has told me ahead of time, baby's not really your thing. When the kid gets to be 2-3, is fun and can do stuff and can, boo-boo and talk some words.
Gaga,
you know what I mean? Well, I think babies do boo gaga. I don't know. But when the kid, I'm putting Joey on with the asterisks. All right, shift 8 on that one, everybody, because what happens is as the child grows up, Joey will continue to climb the ranks. You know what I mean? Eventually, Joey's going to be the coolest. It's Aunt Joey. Aunt Joey's going to show up in her convertible. The kid's going to go in there. They're going to go off and have an adventure for the weekend. I don't know what's going to happen, but they're going to come back. There's going to be a bunch of glitter. They were in PS All the Boys I Loved before number 12. You know what I mean? Like they're going to have lived a life, and I appreciate that. Baby though. Not very great. Joey Noel in the chat says this is all great. Not an insult at all, lol. Thank you, Gregory. I'm very happy with my placement. Obviously, I'm combining many things as this conversation is unfolded. But Joey,
I'm stoked about my placement.
Yeah?
Because this means that you trust me, but you also know me.
Well, that's one thing again, to be very clear, if you're just joining us, you blacked out at the wheel, you're okay, you survived, and I'm proud of you. This is not an issue of trust. I trust everybody at Kind of Funny. And whoever ends up dead last, Nick, it will be totally fine. Yes, I understand that Nick could keep it would be there. We are all there for each other anytime. But it is that descending thing of, I don't want somebody who, if I have time to plan this, Jen's a moth, but she can still talk. And she's like, this is not a big enough emergency just to throw the baby at anybody. Let's figure this out. This is the way it would go. You know,
Nick is going to ask the baby to just take its shoes off.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that.
The asterisk is Joey will rise in rankings as kid gets older, correct?
That is okay. Accurate.
I have that all the way down here.
Barrett, you're doing a great job here. I'm very proud of you. I mean, this is one of the reasons you're at number one. You know what I mean? You're detail oriented and you're here to play.
Some would say maybe too detail oriented, but maybe in the case of babysitting, maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe it's a good thing. That's why you're number one. But see, here's the thing. Gia's going to be mad about this list when she sees it. And she's going to be mad at me because I'm the one bringing her down.
Sure, that's fair.
You know what I mean? And I'm kind of okay with that. I like type of spice in my life. You know what I mean? Me and Gia don't fight enough. I need some arguments. Thank you for bringing some arguments into my family, Greg Miller.
You got to know. You got to know what the dynamic is there. And I think, she's your fiance, husband, wife. What are y'all now? You were supposed to get married a long time ago, Tim. I forget what happened.
It's one of those things. You know what they say? You know what I mean? They won't seal the deal. They just don't believe in it. You know, and that's what I've been saying. It has nothing to do with COVID and not being able to get people together to get married at all. No, sir. Not at all.
A lot of questions.
There's a lot of outstanding questions about this marriage. Okay. So again, now Barrett, Kevin, Tim, Joey, Andy, Nick. I clear the mechanism and Cool Greg's who comes to mind. I got Cool Greg on the brain now. You know what I mean? I must be knocking out both current and former roommates in the Tim and Gia household, right? Because I'm going from Joey now to Cool Greg.
Well, see, this is interesting. So by the Greg Miller power ranking rules, why is Andy not part of the Barrett and Alyssa and Cool Greg not part of the Tim and Gia rankings?
Oh, it's a very simple reason, because I didn't do it, and that's how it is.
And also, when Alyssa and I are going out to do something, it's not like Andy's coming to join us. You know?
That is the thing, too, is I do feel like I've never, and again, I am a passive observer. You know what I mean? I'm not like Jane Goodall. I'm not embedded in the guerrilla organization. As a passive observer, I have never seen a house more independent and standoffish than Andy and Barrett and Alyssa. You know what I mean?
Cats and dogs.
In the same way that I don't sit here with a straight face and I can fucking believe it. Sits here with a straight face and I can fucking believe it that he has no idea what's in their pantry. I believe it because I see Andy's got. Totally. Andy, how much food is in with reach of you right now? You know what I mean? Like stuff you've got piled up around your thing.
Oh, funny.
I was watching some stream you were doing the other day, and you were talking about mini fridges and which mini fridge you want to get. I think it might have been Games.
Oh no, Andy, that's unhealthy. We just got a new fridge, dude.
He wants the Xbox mini fridge. I understand. It looks cool,
bro. But there are some days that like Andy will leave his room until like 3 or 4, and I get legit concerned because I'm like, he needs to pee at some point. Please go pee.
Look, in the same way, I think it's fair that Alyssa, Barrett, and I are not grouped up in the same way that I will never say Lulu's my dog. I will say that's my roommate's dog.
Sure.
Now, if there was a situation a while back where Lulu went to the doctor, and I was like, you know what? I get enough pleasure from being around Lulu because she's a cool dog. Yeah. Let me pitch in a little bit because I don't want I don't want it all to be like, look, if the cops come to her and they're like, you're wanted for murder, we're gonna kill you. Like, I'm gonna be there to defend Lulu, you know?
What?
Now, if they're like, well, you're complicit, Andy, I'd be like, she's not my dog. Like, that's what I would end up saying.
Love the way Andy's mind makes law enforcement work, where it's just like, you did this thing, I'm gonna kill you.
You're under arrest, and by arrest, I mean we are about to shoot you dead for what you've done. Like,
it was. That was also when Maria used to live here as well, and like everybody just kind of helped pitch in and taking care of Lulu that one time. That was really nice.
All right, now.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, I said Cool Greg. I had Cool Greg on the brain.
Yeah, Cool Greg.
Now, for the record, Cool Greg, I'm already putting it on there, gets the asterisk at his name, right? Because again, the older this baby gets, the more Cool Greg and this baby are going to be chilling out and having great times together.
The more is I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought it was going to be like the more older it gets, like no, you ain't hanging out with Cool Greg.
Well, there definitely comes the tipping point, right?
Yeah.
Where it's Cool Greg wants to go into the extracurriculars as well as what he's watching in Cartoon Land. I'm like, well, no, hold on a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in terms, it's there's a bell curve to it where eventually, Cool Greg, I don't need him taking him in and making him a creature of the night.
Greg, this cannot be a spur of the moment thing. You have to let Cool Greg know that Jen is going to turn into a moth. And if you give him a week's worth, he will become a master and expert of
100%
taking care of a child. He will prepare and will do everything in his power to make sure that you are not let down.
So are we running with that?
100% correct, yeah.
Because even if here's my thing is, I think even in spur of the moment, Jen turns into a moth. I've got to get her to the scientist. I need help. If I turned to Cool Greg and I was like, Cool G, you got to take him. You got to take the baby. You got to make sure this all happens. You, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to do this. I do think Cool Greg would be like, I got you, man. And he would take it. And then immediately, he would go to Tim and be like, let me use your phone to use the internet. And then he would check on the internet trying to find like, how do you take care of a baby step by step? And then, by the time I showed up, it would be a very Mr. Mom situation. You know what I mean? He'd have the apron on. He'd be testing the bottles on his arm and stuff like that.
Day one would definitely be like, hey, bro, this Gerber shit, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, that's how day one would be. And by day 3, this dude knows all of the different formulas. He knows the quality of diapers. He's done the research.
He's done the research, man.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I'll be honest with where we were going with this, all right? Cool Greg was coming in 3rd. Above Tim and Gia, below Kevin and Paula. But we have talked him up so much. Cool Greg is moving to number 2. All right, Cool Greg has moved to number 2 here. With the asterisk that he could at some point overtake Barrett and Alyssa. Because eventually, Barrett, this isn't an insult to you at all, but it's more of an insult to Alyssa. She's a teacher, and we all know school's for fools. And when Cool Greg starts spitting that, like, there you go. That's the end of that.
But again, Greg, have you ever hung out with Summer Alyssa?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
She dope?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Joey Noel in the chat says G is going to be so mad, lol.
Yeah.
The asterisk I have is Cool Greg is on a bell curve, correct?
Yes, that's right.
So go like
I'm so not. I mean, by that time, we're talking about getting to what 13 when I'm going to be worried about it. Like the kid doesn't need a babysitter at that point, and it'll be too late to stop him. He'll be fist pounding everybody. Again, remember, Cool Greg gave my wife's pregnant stomach a fist pound, so he is the first person ever to fist pound my baby, which means a lot to me, and I appreciate it.
Joey Noel in the chat also says Summer Alyssa is a party. It's true.
Well, that sucks. I wish I knew her better,
Babies love parties.
This is one of the few people, not actually a lot of people, but I one time had to ask her if she didn't like me. I was like, do I work for you? Is that something?
She took pride in that. She was
like, I work for you.
The Greg Miller thing isn't for everybody. I get that. Yeah. Like, if you need me to not talk to you when you come to the office, I can do that too.
She took. I remember when she told me that she took pride in that. She's like, I like that I keep him on his toes. Because I feel like he's someone who needs to be kept on his toes a little bit.
That's 100% as well. Now we come to babies raising babies. You know what I mean? A Blessing Adeoye Jr. And again, anybody could do this. Don't get me wrong. They can take care of my child. I believe in everybody. You know what I mean? And especially when they all meet them, we all start hanging out more. Yeah, what do you got for me, Tim?
I've known Bless a while now. And I've known him pretty well in different ways. And we hang out, whether it's on shows or like in real life, we'll see each other or talk to each other. Not as much as I wish we did, but like enough, right? And the more I get to know him as a friend, the more terrified I am about this human being a human being.
This child that we all work with and know.
You think you know someone, and then all of a sudden they'll say some shit, and you're just like, I would have lost everything I have on a bet that you wouldn't say that, and it's never something bad, but it's always just something wild, like super wild. He just thinks different. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing for raising your kid, for taking care of your kid, but there's that X factor. I want consistency for your child, Greg Miller. I want to be able to depend on something.
Again, we're into babies raising babies, which is going to go multiple different directions, but I love Blessing. I want you to know, I think we have been killing it lately. We did a great Games Daily today. I think me and Janet are fucking crushing. P.S. I love you with all the Death Loop and Jet previews the other week. So fantastic jealous. Episode. But I have to put him at number 7. Below Andy, above Nick. Because again, I can, it's the same thing I was talking about everything else, right? Jen's a moth. I hand the baby to Blessing. It's going to be him getting overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be mad like Nick would be. He's not going to be inconvenienced like Nick would be. He's going to be overwhelmed with what to do next. Or as we ever talked about with number 2, Cool Greg, right? Rising the occasion. He's gonna accept this and be ready, and he'll be a better dad when I get back. I can drop the kid off the first week of his life, but I can come back 2 days later. Cool Greg will already be getting called dad by the thing.
I have a rebuttal to defend Blessing a bit. I think in a lot of ways, Blessing is a 25-year-old version of me. How old is Blessing? 26, 25?
27.
27. I feel like he's a younger version of me in that I think he's very paranoid. I think he's very anxious. I think he's very neurotic. And a lot of those things, the worry of, am I going to be able to do this, is going to make him so prepared. And in a similar way to me, where you say, Bless, I need you to do this. And he'd be like, fuck, I'm kind of scared, but I got to do it. So let me just Google all these different things. I'm going to be extra prepared. In a similar way to Cool Greg, I think, where I think Blessing is so scared of a lot of things and fucking up in the same way I am.
Yeah.
That we would do as equally as good of a job, better than Nick, of course.
Of course, better than Nick. Yeah. Don't worry about that. That's
what I'm saying, though, is this baby's going to come back. And granted, babies are weird. This isn't how they work. But that baby's going to come back. And we all expect him to say some crazy shit after he hung out with Cool Greg.
Yeah.
We don't expect him to say some crazy shit after hanging out with Bless, but he will.
He will.
Sure.
There's this seedy underbelly of Bless that you just don't know.
I also love Donnie C in the chat has
yeah.
said, have you considered that Bless might start an internet campaign to crown himself as the baby's father, though?
Oh my God. I am the father of the baby.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that Bless would be doing these shenanigans. Meanwhile, the baby's sitting over there in a dirty diaper. I can't have that. You know what I mean? Kid doesn't even know the Halloween colors. He says he's king of Halloween. Get out of here. Okay.
That was pretty. As much as I played into Blessing being the king of Halloween, like, yeah, that really blew me away when that happened.
What blows you away more?
The not knowing the colors thing really blew me away.
That, or not knowing that Quentin Tarantino is a white man, or Roger not knowing that Rome is in Italy. Which of those three really blow you away?
Okay, Rome and Italy, I can get only because I'm bad with geography as well.
Okay.
I can let that one slide.
It's like not knowing where New Zealand is.
He didn't see the Lizzie McGuire movie. It's not his fault.
The thing I never wanted to argue with Bless about with the Quentin Tarantino thing, because he was dealing with a lot of stress that day, is that he kept on saying, look, all of film Twitter's coming at me. Bless, you don't have to be film Twitter to know Quentin Tarantino is. This is not some obscure guy who made 2 foreign films that won some awards overseas. Like, this is Quentin Tarantino. So that was the only thing that I was like, all right, come on, Bless. Like, he's not just some rando guy that only the top 1% of the elite of film Twitter know about. It's QJT.
I mean, here's the thing, though, guys. I don't even know if I want to say this. I'm going to say it. I didn't know there was a difference between Spike Lee and Spike Jonze until a couple weeks ago. Wow. And that was really confusing to me. Because some of the projects, I'm just like...
Pretty crazy.
Man, he made Boys in the Hood, and he made the Weezer music video for Buddy Holly. Damn.
Which, I mean, like, that's my thing. Is like, there are these creative forces that are renowned and do like all this stuff where it's like, it's kind of like Rick Rubin being involved in all the different things he is, where it's like, we're crossing genres. We're doing all types of crazy stuff.
Wait, did I just fuck up? No. Who am I? What? Spike Lee didn't do.
Spike Jonze is the one who directed like Her and stuff, right?
No. Spike Jonze. I'm locked in on the Weezer fact. I assure you. I'm thinking of the wrong movie. What with the Radio Raheem. What movie am I thinking of from Spike Lee?
Do the Right Thing.
Am I? Doesn't matter. I look stupid too now, so everybody looks stupid. It's fine.
Like, here's the thing with me and Spike Lee. It's not even a thing of like,
you
don't know his movies. To me, it's like, oh, that's the movie guy who has made a bunch of movies, and it's always a Spike Lee joint. But he's also always on the floor for the Knicks games, and he's the one that when. Tim, this is one of the coolest things of all time. I'm sure you've seen it in sports, some sports kind of history things, because it's like one of those memorable moments. Spike Lee, always on the, similar to Jack Nicholson for the Lakers, Spike Lee is always on the sidelines for the Knicks games, because that's where he always has his tickets, and he's like the biggest fan. He's been there forever, regardless of how bad they are. They're always fucking terrible. And it was early 90s. The Pacers were playing the Knicks, and the Pacers were up by, 10 points near the end of the game. And Reggie Miller from the Pacers hit like 3 3-pointers in the span of like 20 seconds, something crazy like that. Brought him back to then beat the Knicks. And then when he hit like one of the ceiling threes that like kind of put him up, he looked at Spike Lee and he put his hands around his throat like, "You're fucking chokers. The Knicks are chokes, like they're choking,
Choke artists."
And it was like one of the biggest sort of moments where, because Spike Lee and he was on the bench and he's going after Reggie Miller playing the game, and Reggie Miller's talking shit back to him, and that was one of those moments where you just Google like Reggie Miller choke, It is one of those kind of
Iconic
sports
things.
photos, iconic things that is so cool. And that's how I know Spike Lee, because of sports.
But also shout out to Inside Man and Black Lantern.
I mean, like Spike Lee, I'm familiar with because of Jordans, because of a bunch of commercials, like obviously all the movies and stuff. But then recently, Nick recommended the Beastie Boys documentary on Apple TV. It was fantastic, and I watched it, and it was Spike Jonze produced, and you hear his voice. You never see him though, and so this is where I was like looking it up, and I saw a picture of Spike Jonze. Barrett, can you just bring up this Wikipedia?
Yeah, give me a second.
I lived my entire life knowing. Go for it, Andy.
I was going to say it was 8 points in 9 seconds, which is absolutely wild. 8 points in 9 seconds for Reggie.
Yeah, goddamn. So I see this guy, and I'm like, this can't be right. Like, I know what Spike Lee looks like. He's on Jordans. Like, I know that man. And I'm like, this is not him. And I started looking. I'm like, they're different people. Holy shit.
Always a mind-blowing experience when that happens. All right?
Yeah.
Babies raising babies. Roger Porconi, right? Oof. Another child. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front. I'm gonna tie him with 7. I'm gonna tie him with Blessing.
Below Nick. Below Nick, I would say, right?
No, I just do not want to deal with Nick for 15 years giving me shit about this. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, that's what's happening here. Is like there's a whole bunch of things. Roger and Blessing, I feel, are on the same level of they will be overwhelmed. They will, of course, rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
But they will be overwhelmed. It will cause way too much anxiety for them. Barrett, do you mind putting a Blessing / Roger? And I think would mean they're working together / I want to make sure we're pretty clear that these are, in my mind, babies raising babies, interchangeable. You know what I mean? Either one, I'm going to ruin their weekend. There's going to be a lot of panic. There's going to be a lot of phone calls to different people. You know, Blessing will call Youssef for advice. Roger will call, I don't know Roger well enough to know who he calls. His mom? I'm not sure. I think, Roger tested a Discord call with his mom and me once. So we'll say his mom. All right, that's where that's going to go. Now we have Snowbike Mike. And this is an interesting one, right?
It is.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
It could be the extreme of either ways.
It's high. For me, he's high. I see him competing with the Cool Greg slot. You know what I mean? And I think I might put him above Cool Greg because Cool Greg will need time to get his head on straight, read some books, watch some videos, whereas Snowbike Mike will drop in, give the baby a pep talk, and we will be off to the races. He cared for the Splash Sisters for so long, right? You know what I mean? He's got that down.
The dog thing is a game changer. I am a different person having had Moose the last year. Yeah. Entirely. So it's like, I'm with you in that sense. Although Cool Greg's really good with Moose too.
This is not a knock against Cool Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I think Cool Greg's like an older car and then he's a warm-up the engine. I think Snowbike Mike, you can drop a baby on him, no problem. He's ready to go.
That's a good point.
And then above it, of course, God tier, Barrett and Alyssa. They're the nuclear family. You know what I mean? They're both excited to have a child in their lives. Barrett, of course, is going to be learning a bit. He's going to be behind Alyssa. He'll be behind Alyssa in terms of what she knows. But Alyssa, of course, field general. This is to go back to a second to remind you of how commanding a presence Alyssa is. She walked into the studio that I'm the CEO of, and I felt intimidated enough to ask, "Do you like me?" Like she will immediately be calling the shots. She's Phil Jackson out there making sure Barrett's doing what needs to be done. Barrett doesn't need the information on his own yet.
You just tell me, like, point me in a direction, I'll walk in that direction. Exactly, I'm not the leading force there. I will. The other memory I have is like there was another Friday where she came in, and I think you had already left, Greg. It was a Friday. It's the end of the school week. Like we have that feeling on a Friday of like, man, it's the end of the week finally. It's the end of a school week for her. So she is doubly done. All right. And so she had like gone into the studio, grabbed some snacks out of the studio pantry, like took off her like slippers or flip flops or whatever she was wearing because it was a hot day, and planted herself on the couch in the founder's room and just like was just hanging out. And Tim looked over at her and was like, I respect how comfortable you can get here.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm putting Snowbike Mike number 2 above Cool Greg, but it's a similar vibe there. But of course, Snowbike Mike's going to be just like, remember, I know it's time warp here for people who haven't seen it, but we just did Ghostbusters 2 in review, Andy. And Snowbike Mike is the positively charged slime. You know what I mean? He's ready to just slime my baby with positivity in a way that baby will never know disappointment anyway. And so these, ladies and gentlemen, are the final power rankings for Greg Babysitter for the full-time staff at Kind of Funny. Number 1, Barrett and Alyssa. Number 2, Snowbike Mike. Number 3, Cool Greg with an asterisk. He'll get cooler. It's a bell curve. He'll be cooler, and then eventually I'll have to keep him away from my kid. Number 4, Kevin and Paula. Number 5, Tim and Gia. Number 6, Joey with an asterisk, who will climb the ranks as the child gets older and Joey actually wants to hang out with him. Number 7, Andy. Number 8, Blessing / Roger. They're tied. And then at number 9, Nick and D. This is a good question.
I'm proud of my 7th spot.
Yeah. This is a good question, Michael.
I'm stoked about this overall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're stoked to do another Kind of Funny podcast for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Remember, if you go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, you can catch the post show we're about to record. Of course, if you'd gone there ahead of time, you could have been hanging out just like Matthew Lewis is, Mark Freeman is, Lexi GR. Of course, you can watch our shows live as we record them. You can get them ad free and you can be part of them. You can get the post show. You can get all these benefits for a bunch of other Kind of Funny products, all on youtube.com. No, damn it, fuck. Patreon.com/kindoffunny. If you have no bucks toss our way, it's no big deal. YouTube.com/kindoffunny. Roosterteeth.com. Podcast services around the globe twice a week, sometimes with a guest, often without Nick, the way it should be, the way God intended it. Right now, we have a post show to do. Andy, shoot that b-ball. And until next time, no, it's been our pleasure to serve you.